In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Well, we already talked about E-language approaches and I-language approaches, and we said that a Chomsky approach is an E-language approach, and that I-language approaches, excuse me, it was wrong, it was a mistake. Chomsky's language approach is an I-language approach. Chomsky considers E-language approaches as something outside. Okay? So if you want to, in fact, see what is there, let's go to page 14. On top of the page, there's a box. This box is so important for you. This box is so important to you, and the difference between E-language and I-language approaches. You have to actually go to the book because this part doesn't have a good, in fact, thing to show to you, because it is as poor quality when I actually check it in my PDF or in the MP4 that is produced. That doesn't have a good quality out there. Anyway, you have to go to the book, and in order for you to understand. So E-language means externalized language outside the mind. I-language means languages inside the minds of native speakers of English. Inside the minds of native speakers of English. Okay, well, let us look at this fact box. When we say E-language is externalized, line 2, 3, okay, we say it is externalized. It means that it is outside the mind, as I told you. I-language, in front of it, is internalized, means inside the mind. Line 2 says, suppose that externalized is line 1, line 2 is that it consists of a set of sentences. A set of sentences that are outside the mind. In the books, as I told you. In the books. In the telephone conversations. In the different, say, sites, in the different applications like WhatsApp, in the different applications like Telegram, in the different applications like, let's say, I don't know, maybe in Facebook, in Twitter, etc., etc. These are outside the mind. These are in the applications, in the books, etc., outside, in the society. Okay? So these are the sentences that are outside the mind. In front of it, we see deals with the knowledge of language, which enables you to produce many sentences. How many sentences? An infinite number of sentences. You have already, mathematics, and in mathematics, we say that there is no bigger number. There is no bigger sentence, we say here, okay? There is no end to the number of sentences. How many sentences are there in English? All English sentences are a limited number. An indefinite number of sentences is taken care of in Chomsky's approach. But E-language, it only looks at the sentences, deals with the sentences actually produced. Okay? Those sentences that are going to be produced later on are not part of E-language approaches. So, we go to, when we say, so it deals with the sentences actually produced. We go to the corpora. What is corpora? Corpora is, we have got a bank of sentences. A bank of sentences. A bank actually takes care of money. But a corpus, a bank like this, takes care of sentences, vocabulary, grammars there in it. Well, if we have got a very big bank of all sentences of English, it is impossible. We can take, let's say, millions of sentences into considerations in the bank. But Chomsky says the bank is limited. The bank is limited. The corpus is limited. The corpus is limited. This is not limited. It only includes 10 million, 100 million sentences. 100 million words. Small. Chomsky says, no, you have to take all sentences in the language, which it is in, well, how many sentences are there possible in English? We say indefinite number of sentences, like mathematics. Like mathematics, we say the number of sentences in linguistics for a language like Arabic, for a language like Farsi, for a language like, let's say, English, is unlimited. No limitation. No limitation. Well, 100 million is small. We have to say indefinite number of sentences. Let us look at the one in front of it. Well, deals with knowledge of potential sentences. Potential sentences. Okay? It means all sentences that are produced and all sentences that are going to be produced later on in future. All the sentences. So an I-language approach looks at the potential sentences, not only at the corpus, not only looking at the corpora, not only looking at the bank of sentences. Okay, remember, corpus is singular, corpora is the plural form of the word corpus. Corpus singular, corpora plural. Okay, bank singular, banks plural. Okay, so corpus singular, corpora plural. Anyway, well, so when we look at language like this, actually we look at all languages that are in fact possible to be produced. We call it as something like intuitions. Well, native speakers have something inside their minds, and there is something Arabic, sham, in their minds. Of course, we use it in Farsi. I don't know where we have got the same word for Arabic for the word intuitions. We say sham, an Arabic word in Farsi vocabulary. Maybe the same is used in Arabic, maybe it is not used. So we use our intuition. We say, well, this sentence is good. In my sham, it is good, a good sentence. And if you say that this sentence is good, all native speakers of Arabic, they say that this sentence is good. If a native speaker of English says that this sentence is bad, all native speakers of let's say English say that this sentence is bad. Okay, what do they use? They use sham, intuition. Well, please check to see that we have got the same thing in Arabic or not. Of course, we take it from Arabic, what maybe in Arabic we use another thing for intuition. You have to actually go to find it somewhere. But the idea is that intuition is something that in Chomskyan approach is taken care of. What do? We look at something inside my mind. We say, well, according to my English, this is a good sentence. Okay, this is intuitions. Okay, the next one is something like this. Describes the properties of such data for e-language. What does it mean? Describes properties for such data. Well, they take data, They take the data and actually they look at only those data available to them. Okay, they talk about only the data available to them when we work with corpora and when we work with e-language. What Chomsky says, no limitation, no limitation. Just go to your intuition. Just go to your intuition. Intuition has got so many sentences. Maybe they are not all of them are produced. Okay? So describes the system in an individual's mind. Individual's mind. The difference between Chomskyan approach and non-Chomskyan approaches is something like this. Chomsky looks at the minds of the native speakers, the mind of the child, the mind of an adult, the mind of an adult, the mind of a child, the mind of you as if you are a woman, the mind of you if you are a man. Okay, no difference. We have got the same kind of mind. And in the mind, you have got the language. This is an I language according to Chomsky. Okay, so well, let us say that Chomsky talks about the psychology. Psychology. Mind, psychology. علم النفس, as I told you. Well, what about this part? Describe properties of such data. This is not psychology. Maybe it is علم الاجتماع or something other things. Sociolinguistics. But here it is psycholinguistics. Okay, so this is another difference. And the last but not the least, it is that it is concerned with with what people have done in the past. History. Past history. E-language. E-language does something that people did in the past. When you actually take, in fact, corpora, when you actually work with the sentences that are actually produced, you actually would work with those types of data. Okay, with those types of sentences. Well, Chomsky says, no, I-language is not like that. It is concerned, I-language is concerned with what they could do, including the future. So, the last one is the difference between present, past, and future here, and e-language, which only looks at the past. Okay, this is the in fact, the difference that we actually see with e-language and I-language. In my next presentation, I actually look at some other things that are below there. Okay, maybe it's going to be heavy and it is difficult for you to download and for me to upload. Let me finish it just now. Thank you very much.